Hi guys, my name is Bobby and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm filming a book haul. I don't know what to call this book haul. It's just a book haul. I think the last one I did was like the second or third video I did on my channel, and I called it a fall book haul. This is still technically fall, so maybe a late fall book haul. Some of these books you've already seen already. Either I've read them and so they've been reviewed and stuff already, but I'm just going to go through them really quick because I figured if I wait too much longer, the pile's going to be bigger. I think I have 14, 15 books maybe to go through. Also, I'm trying kind of a new setup. I'm actually sitting on my bed, so this is my headboard. You can kind of see my bookshelf over here. I don't mind sitting in front of the window where I get the natural light, but sometimes it washes out the books. So I'm seeing if this is a little better where I get a little bit of light, but it's not overwhelming. Let me know what you think. I mean, if anything, I can move to the other side of the bed if I need more light. Like, again, live in a tiny apartment, filming space is limited. I'm trying to find the best way to where I'm comfortable and like you guys can see what, what I'm showing easier. Anyways, let's get into it. So the first book is Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. I've talked about this book multiple times. I have actually finished it. You'll hear about it in my November wrap-up. And I'll tell you more what it's about then. Pretty much killer nuns. Fantasy, killer nuns, adult. All you really need to know. The next two books are actually a book one and a book two. The first one, which I've talked about a little bit before, is Sweet Pea by C.J. Scoose, and the second one is In Bloom by C.J. Scoose. So this is book one, this is book two. I haven't read this one yet. I've tried, like as you can see, I have a bookmark in it. I've read like the first chapter, 2 chapters, couple chapters, whatever. It's good. It's about a girl named Rhiannon who is a psychopath. Like a literal psychopath. Like she wants to murder people and she enjoys murdering people. And it's really funny, but I just haven't been able to get into it. I just think I'm not in the right mood. I finished a book this month, and like I kind of got a book hangover from it, and I think that's part of the problem. Trying to pick this one up. I really want to read it. Like it is so good. Like Leanne from Leanne's Literary Diversions talks about it all the time. It's one of her favorites. So I am going to read it. I mean, I bought book one and book two and I got them from Book Depository. Like they came all the way from Britain because this one wasn't out yet. I believe Sweet Pea's out in the US now. But it's really funny. Like in the first, 20 pages? I was just like, holy shit. Like this is pretty intense. Like she murders somebody in a very nasty way. But I will get to these eventually, especially the first one. It just hasn't been the right time. It's The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein. I've talked about this one in length. I read it in October, loved it. It's a beautiful book, but this was one that is in the haul because I haven't featured it in a haul. But yeah, go read this book if you haven't and if you love Frankenstein. This one was my book of the month choice for October, and that's The Lies We Told by Camilla Way. I also read this in October and reviewed it, and I really loved it. I gave it 4 stars. It's about a girl. It's told in 2 perspectives from 2 different women. Clara is, she's dating a guy, I think his name's Tom or something like that. He goes missing one night and can't find him, and so they don't know if he's dead, if he ran away, whatever. And they've got an opposite timeline where this mom is telling you about her daughter Hannah, who is a sociopath, and she can tell she's a sociopath and all these freaky things that she's been doing. So you have both timelines. Eventually they converge. It's a really good story, 4 stars. Didn't take me long to read it. It's rather short, but it was pretty engaging considering most thrillers nowadays don't really engage me. The only issue I had with this is I wanted more from Hannah. Hannah was my favorite character and I wanted more from her. The next book is Grim Lovelies by Megan Shepherd. This book actually came in my Pop Reads box, and I actually did film an unboxing to that, and that it was a special edition. Pop Reads box used to be their own box, but she just stopped doing it. I think because she went back to school or something like that, and so she didn't have enough time to do it anymore. But every box came with a book, a bookmark, and a brand new Funko Pop. And so I wanted to unbox it, and I did, and I filmed it, only when I went into edit, the film, like, this is also part of the reason why I'm over here and not in front of the window. I went to edit it, and everything was washed out. Like, the bookmark was washed out, like, every time I'd move, like, the brightness, like, it washed me out and made the focusing go all weird. So I was just like, eh. And then, to top it all off, I forgot to show the inside of this, and I tried to film a part and it didn't work, but the inside of this is signed. So, like, an actually signed with a Sharpie. Like, you can see the bleed through on the other side. It's actually signed with a Sharpie. So, that was pretty exciting. And I forgot to show that, so I ended up scrapping the entire video. I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just show it in a haul. Okay, so Grim Lovelies is about a girl who is called a beastie, which means she is an animal and not a human, but if a witch is in control of you, they can make you into a human for a certain period of time or whatever, and the humans are called pretties. And I guess the witch that controls her, or the spell on her, to be in human form, dies. So she has a certain amount of time before she turns back into an animal, and I don't know if she falls in love with somebody or whatever. I didn't really go much into it. This has been around BookTube quite a bit. I've seen quite a few BookTubers talk about it. I've seen them talk about hauling it, but I haven't seen anybody reviewing it. So I'm curious to know if anybody's read it. If any of you have read it, please let me know. But I've never seen anybody review it, so I don't know if they hauled it and then just shoved it on their shelf or what. The next book I got was from the October bookie box, and that is Damsel by Alana K. Arnold. This is a young adult fantasy about standalone, about a girl named Amma who is rescued by Prince Emery, and in this land, before the prince can become king, he has got to go slay the dragon and save the damsel. And then they are married and blah, blah, blah. So that's what this book is about. Amma is the damsel, and she wakes up. She has no idea where she is or what's going on, and is taken to the castle to marry Prince Emery. So I barely started reading it. I think I'm like 10 pages in because I want something small to read to finish out the month. But I saw somebody review this. I think it was Trina. Oh God, what is her channel name? Between Chapters. Trina over Between Chapters. She reviewed this, and she said it was very good. She goes, it's really quick, and, you know, like, it's kind of infuriating. I guess there's a lot of trigger warnings for sexual assault, assault in general, rape, and one other thing. But I guess it takes the damsel trope and totally flips it on its head. So I'm curious now. Like, when I first got this in the box, I was like, oh, this seems kind of fun. Now I really want to read it. So hopefully I can get it finished by the end of November. But I guess this is a YA book. And from what Trina said, she's kind of shocked it is a YA because the topics are really, really strong. But it's also good. The topics are good for a young adult reader to see and perceive in a way so that they know these things are bad and wrong. So the next book I got was in the September bookie box, and that's Lantern's Ember by Colleen Houck. This is about a girl who is a witch, and there's a bridge that leads into another realm or world, and there's a guy who guards the bridge, and he's supposed to keep people out, but he falls in love with this girl who keeps trying to get through the portal, and she does, and so he's got to go chase her down, blah, blah, blah. Seems like a pretty typical YA fantasy, witchy romance-ish. I don't know, because Julia doesn't usually pick books that are kind of super tropey and stuff like that. She tends to pick books that are a little bit different. So maybe there's more to what the dust jacket actually says. This book I bought, which was not my most, I think my most recent purchase that's not a box or a subscription service of some kind, and that's Grey Sister by Mark Lawrence. This is the second book. It's the sequel to Red Sister. But after I finished Red Sister, I had to get Grey Sister. I'm bummed I don't have Red Sister in hardcover, but I think it's out of print now. So all I could get with this style of, because this is the American covers, and I prefer the American covers over the UK covers for this series. But this is the only one, so I had to get it in mass market paperback, which I'm not always a fan of. But I did get Grey Sister in hardcover. It is so beautiful, and I cannot wait to get into it. I thought about starting it right after Red Sister, but I kind of wanted a little break, because I believe book 3 comes out in January, so it's coming soon, so I want to maybe read this in December, so that I'll be ready for the new release of the last book in the trilogy. The next book is my November book of the month pick, and that is 9 Perfect Strangers by Liane Moriarty, and of course, she is the writer of, or the author of Big Little Lies, which was one of my favorite books last year. I loved that book. Like, she is a fabulous writer. Like, there's something about Liane Moriarty where she can write, like, the hardest topics, like, and the really sensitive topics so well. I don't know how she does it. But this book is about 9 perfect strangers. It's about 9 people who go to this health resort, all for different reasons, and this takes place over 10 days. And you get all these different people's perspectives over the 10 days while they're at this resort. I read this book in November. It'll be in my November wrap-up. Heads up, like, I guess, little sneak. I gave it 5 stars and absolutely loved it, and I have a lot of thoughts. But this book was fabulous. I recommend you all read it. It was amazing. Next couple of books that I bought were in my recent book outlet purchase because Bobby has no self-control. And I see pretty books on book outlet and I have to buy them. No self-control. And the first book that I got was The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This was major going around BookTube last Christmas time. And it seemed interesting, and so when I saw it on there for super cheap, I decided to buy it. This is a story about a 17-year-old girl who dies, and she becomes the new ghost of Christmas past. So it's a spin on the Ebenezer Scrooge tale, and the, what is that? What the heck is that called? That story. It's not a Christmas. Wow. Anyways, it's a play on the Scrooge story. It seems really interesting. I remember last year a lot of people really loved it. And look at that spine. Look at the spine. Super shiny. But I'm really excited to read it. I'm hoping to read it next month for Christmas time. Because, you know, I'm not a... Nobody kill me. But I'm not that big of a Christmas person. I used to like it when I was a kid, obviously, because of all the presents. But as an adult, I'm not really that big into Christmas. And I kind of be a Scrooge myself most of the time around Christmas. So this book is like perfect for me to read in the month of December, so I'm hoping to get to it next month. The next book that I got from Book Outlet is An Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. The only reason I bought this book is because Murphy, over at Murphy Napier, if you don't follow her or watch her channel, go, do it. She's amazing. She read this. This is a standalone young adult fantasy, I believe, or is it an adult fantasy? Either way, it's a standalone fantasy, and it's supposed to be amazing. She said it was kind of slow to start, but it was really, really good, and she really loved it. So I decided to buy it because of Murphy, and it's not that long at all. It's like just over 300 pages, or it's about 350 almost. So I think it's about warring houses, like, okay, so it takes place in New York City. There's an unseen world of magic, and there's a house. There's always one house that rules the magic in New York, and there's a certain amount of years go by, and there's a battle to see, you know, who's got the best magician, and they all kind of compete against each other, and that house then becomes the ruler of the magic in New York for the next X amount of years. So I guess that it ends up happening a little earlier than normal this year, and everybody's upset, and it follows this one girl who is the champion for one of the houses, but Murphy said it was good, so I'm going to give it a shot. The next 3 books that I got and these are the last 3, are all by the same author. They're all by Christina Henry, and the first 2 are Alice in Red Queen, and these are retellings of the Alice in Wonderland tales. So I believe this is Alice in Wonderland, and this is like Through the Looking Glass, but I guess they're both bloody, and you know, kind of crazy. I've heard mixed things about them, but they were super cheap on Book Outlet, and I really wanted to read them, so I got them both. So I have those 2, and then I also got Lost Boy by Christina Henry, which is supposed to be the true tale of Captain Hook and how he became Captain Hook. Also bloody, as it shows. So these are, you know, aren't very big, and they're supposed to be, you know, super bloody and fun. So these are ones that, like, if I'm in a whimsical mood, I would definitely pick up one of these 3. But once I saw all 3 of them, and they were so cheap, I was like, I had to have them. Had to have them. Okay, guys, that's it. That's my book haul. Let me know down below if you've read any of these. I'd like to know your thoughts, and I will see you guys later. Bye.